Hello viewers, my name is Margaret Erb and I am one of the directors of the Saul Leiter Foundation. Very happy to be here with you here all today.
And I'm Michael Perillo, the other director of the Saul Leiter Foundation, and yes, we're absolutely thrilled to be here at Hicarie.
We are so happy to celebrate Origins in Color, an exhibition that has been long in the works, and that was a collaboration with the Hicarie Museum, but also Bunkamura Museum of Art. This has been a special place for Saul Leiter. This is the third exhibition that we've had here, and each exhibition, personally, I don't know what you'll say, Michael, but I've learned so much. I have so many things I want to say about this exhibition, but maybe I'll start by asking you, Michael. Did you have a favorite part, or what was some of the highlights for you?
Well, the first and most obvious answer is the giant 10 by 10 meter projection room.
Yes, that was great.
Wonderful. That includes 10 projectors that are showing 250 images from Saul Leiter's slide archive. And more than half of these images are being shown for the very first time ever here at Hicarie. And some of the others were included in last year's book, The Unseen Saul Leiter. And all of this stems from our project of cataloging Saul's color slides that he left behind, which were at least 40,000 slides. And at this point in time, we've seen about 11,000 slides and made a selection for the show. And these slides present a diversity of material, including, of course, Saul's early color work from the late 40s into the 1960s, street photographs, but also we have two projectors devoted to Saul's amazing, groundbreaking fashion photography, and a couple of little special interest slide projections, such as Saul's images of Central Park in New York City that he took in the early 1960s, and also one projector showing all a single variants of a single image, Snow, 1970, from a beautiful winter scene with lots of variants. And what about you, Margaret? What have you enjoyed in this show?
Well, I loved the slide projector room. I thought it was so dramatic. It's dark, it's quiet, except for this single sound. Maybe I shouldn't give too much away about it, but it was such a dramatic room. It's a very fun place to stay, and I would recommend you devote a long time in that room. I thought it was great. But one of my favorite rooms was a room dedicated to Saul's fashion, particularly his photographs that he took for Harper's Bazaar magazine. The years that he was there were 1958 through the 60s. The room has images from the magazine directly on the walls and in the vitrines, and you can go one by one, year by year, and see how Saul's images were actually used in the magazine. So you can see the art direction from the magazine itself and the text that went along with the image. This is an area that we still have to work on at the Saul Leiter Foundation. We have a lot more discoveries to make, but this room really put a huge foot forward in the progress of learning about Saul and his fashion work. We were so excited to see that room.
Absolutely. Yes. And another great thing about this exhibition is it's enormous. There's a lot of wonderful material to explore, as each of the two previous Bunkamura exhibitions have been very large. And this time we're showing many black and white street photographs that we've never shown before in Japan. And these images provide amazing context into the New York City in which Saul was working, largely during the 1950s, which was more or less his most productive period. And part of this focus is the fellow artists that Saul took pictures of in his downtown neighborhood, including people such as Andy Warhol and Diane Arbus, and also some lovely photographs of musicians such as Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane playing downtown at the Five Spot Club right near Saul's apartment. And his black and white images are perhaps slightly less known than his color images, but this show really shows the graphic quality of his black and white work, and just again his depictions of New York City that are unlike any other photographers. He shows a quieter and more mysterious New York than most.
I particularly loved the image of Diane Arbus.
Yeah.
And also there is a series of images of Andy Warhol, but it's a young Andy Warhol.
Saul said it was Andy before Andy was Andy.
I think the year is like 1952.
Yes, around 1952, yes.
Yeah.
Just after Warhol had moved to New York.
Another of my favorite rooms was the one dedicated to his paintings.
Oh, absolutely.
And also his color photographs. We selected 10 iconic color images for this room. And then paintings were added to, in a way, connect or collaborate with these photographs. And it really thrills me because I think it's important for people to recognize that Saul was equally a painter and photographer.
Yes.
And that when he wasn't photographing, he was painting, and when he wasn't painting, he was photographing. Painting was something that came from within him, and photography, in a way, he told me, was something that he went out to discover. And most of his photography, 99.9% of it, are photographs that he took just outside of his home in New York's East Village. The paintings are, in this exhibition, all watercolor. They're used with gouache paints and watercolor paints. And mostly they're abstract. About 80% of his paintings are abstract. They're very meditative. They're very beautiful. You can't even ascribe words to them.
Yeah, and the paintings provide wonderful insight into Saul's groundbreaking use of color and sense of composition.
Yeah, he really was a colorist.
He was a colorist.
Yeah.
And it's particularly interesting to view them next to these iconic color photographs of Saul's.
Yes, that was a great room.
Really wonderful.
Oh, finally, I forgot to mention, there's a very special room in this show. You wanted to say something about it, I think.
Sure. This exhibition includes a reproduction of Saul's atelier with some of his personal objects, including his slide boxes in which he kept his slides. We have since pulled the slides out of these boxes and put them into archival storage.
There's a fireplace there.
Saul's fireplace is reproduced, and when you peer into this room that's also projecting slides from his first book, Early Color, and other iconic early well-known color work, you're sort of looking through Saul's window into his apartment. He had a big north-facing window in which where he would sit and paint, and also hold court with his guests. So this reproduction of the atelier is a very special part of the exhibition, indeed.
And there's, in the middle of this room, there's an original slide projector. It's small and green. You can hear the sound of it, cha-ching, cha-ching, yeah. And then across the way is a projection of one of Saul's photographs, and it's continually moving. You really get the sense of Saul. It really feels like he's in the room and showing the viewer, I don't know, the original inception for the art, right? Something.
Indeed, yes. And let's not forget there's a tribute to Saul's love of Japanese art, the ukiyo-e print in the corner, and there's also a small Japanese chest next to his table in the room.
There's a couple of coffee cups.
he loved coffee.
Yes. And there's a photograph of, I think it's Jess, a cat. We'll let the viewers find that photograph. It's
Yes.
small, but it's there.
Yes, so we don't want to pretend that we are the only people that made this exhibition, because we absolutely are not. We're so grateful to the incredible team of Bunkamura,
They're amazing.
who conceived this show and executed it so beautifully, and couldn't have been kinder and more wonderful with us. We're so grateful and honored to be here. And we should tell you that unlike our other shows at Bunkamura, which traveled around Japan, this one will not be traveling. So please come see it while it's still open through August 23rd. We hope that you'll like it, and we think that you will. And thank you very much.
Please be sure not to miss it.
Arigatou gozaimasu.